block finance bill. That is a conversation that now is in town right now. Remember, this is just basically on the finance bill 2024 and highlighting on the fiscal year 2024-2025 that is setting the pace and the foot of the country. Jumping the gun, Busia Senator Okia Omtata wants the High Court to stop public participation on the proposed taxation measures because, now listen to this, contrary to procedure, the National Assembly has prioritized the Finance Bill 2024 before considering and approving the Appropriations Act 2024. There was a story or amendment that was supposed to be passed, and of course there was a conversation on taxation that is going to strike the common mwananchi. And now that we have the Finance Bill coming on board, there is so much heat and the conversation on the Finance Bill rather than the taxation in the country. That is what is highlighted on story page number 7. What will happen? Will the National Assembly, of course, prioritize the taxation or prioritize the Finance Bill 2024? We'll get that report in the best time possible. We have the biggest story that is trending currently on page 10. President RUTO arrives in Washington for second phase of state visit. President William Ruto and First Lady Rachel Ruto arrive at the Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, Washington, D.C. in the United States of America yesterday. Of course, they were received by U.S. First Lady Jill Biden. This is the second phase of the president's U.S. state visit after Atlanta, where he pitched camp for 2 days, marketing Kenya as a top investment destination in Africa and sealing trade deals. So many people have actually seen the story, of course, online, and they are requesting that this particular visit should have a greater impact to the common man, to the common mwananchi. And of course, I saw a comment somewhere that says that, of course, the president also should highlight the plight of Kenyans that are seeking the reduction of taxation. And of course, if he introduces also the finance bill conversation to that particular place, let them tell him what is the real deal on finance bill and what's the impact to a common man as far as finance bill is concerned, and of course what is the strike that is going to happen to a common mwananchi right here in the country. That is highlighted in page 10. Of course, we'll keep that to see what's the impact, what's the idea, what's the outcome of that particular state visit becoming a second phase. Of course, we're expecting so much as far as growth and development of a country is concerned. We'll get to that in our consecutive bulletins. Now remember, on page 8 we have court freezes 28 million shillings belonging to Kenya National Hospital boss. Now EACC investigations Dr. Everson Kamuri over allegations of abuse of office, unexplained wealth, conflict of interest and irregular award of tenders to firms linked to him. That is in page 8. And of course page 20 says 2 die in coast as cyclone Lelai causes havoc. The cyclone, which had grown from a tropical storm on Tuesday evening, caused strong winds, rains and large waves in the Indian Ocean yesterday. It started on Tuesday and of course just yesterday causing some 2 deaths and of course severe deaths. On the back page of the Daily Nation says rain state school feeding, state told. The National Assembly's NGCDF committee has protested against the school feeding program and cautioned the government against adopting the proposal, which will affect millions of learners who may go without meals from July. At the beginning of May, we had highlighted this particular story and the effect of the school feeding program, that of course the drastic effect and the negative effect that is going to happen more so to those schools that depend and rely on the feeding program. Remember, we had highlighted the northeastern parts and the regions that are drastically faced by, let's say, drought in some way, and now they go to school just to get a plate of at least some rice or some food that is being given in school. But now if it is now not introduced to them, or it is abolished, it is going to be a problem to those people living in those particular areas. Not even northeastern, we coming back to Nairobi, there are schools that do not have any other source of food, and they expect and they rely on the feeding program that is offered by the NGCDF, that is offered by the county, and of course other local governments that are donating food to them. Remember, that is Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja introduced this in the county, which is becoming so much helpful to different schools right in the country. And of course we also are pleading, or they are pleading to the government to of course stretch a little bit of these particular projects, and of course to save the lives of school going children and give them food. Page 27 and 29 says special economic zones roar to life. Arrival of new investors is a relief after years of limited activity brought about by lack of adequate funds to put in place infrastructure such as roads, electricity and water. That is on page 27 and 29 of the Daily Nation. So much is there to handle as we dive into the Standard. That says that on page 2,000 still out of school. Why? At least 2,155 schools damaged by floods failed to reopen for second term on May 13th. There is uncertainty as to when the learners will resume education. The worst affected schools in Kisumu, Tana River and Homa Bay counties, with government mulling alternative places for learning. Of course, we have been embarking on that particular story. There are so many schools that have not reopened to date. What is the solutions? What is the government doing at least to make sure that they get back to school, or any other alternative, or to be moved to other alternative schools in those particular areas? But the situation is still severe, and we are pleading to residents in those affected areas to raise alarm as soon as now, so that we can be able to at least know where to help and to get alternative. If you look at the pictures on page 2, the water is still high, and the roads are impassable, so we do not know the current situation, but we will keep tabs to understand the real situation and the alternative that the governments and the county governments in Homa Bay, Tana River and Kisumu will have to offer. There was a time that we were conversing about Kitale. There are students that from home to school takes a mile. Of course, now to get to school, they may end up dead before they arrive. That is the severe situation that is happening in this particular area. So as far as that is concerned, in page 10 on the Standard says hustler defenders have turned into Gachagwa's critics. We'll have that story in a bit. Black market to thrive as RUTO tax plan suffers blow. I remember when we were talking about Okiya Omtata now addressing to the National Assembly to of course prioritize the taxation, and of course also the matter on Finance Bill 2024. So it is a blow. Of course, the tax plan that RUTO had on this particular finance year, it's becoming a crisis. So we're told that Kenyans are bracing for tax increases as William Ruto government seeks to bridge its budget deficit. However, experts warn the more levies government introduces, the more evaders will rise, denying Kenya Revenue Authority taxes, even as petitioners move to court seeking to block MPs from passing the Finance Bill 2024. That is in page 4 and 5 of the Standard. I told you it is kind of not in agreement where there is a group of people that are proposing that tax should come forward, and the others are proposing that finance bill is basically the importance that should come forward and should be prioritized. We'll have that story in our consecutive bulletins just to highlight what is the impact of Finance Bill 2024 and the taxation as far as fiscal year 2024-2025 is concerned. Page 39 says Euro, Ronaldo proves why he's still the God. That is in the sports. We'll have a review on Ulingo Sporty. KCB defies forecast to post 16 billion shillings profit. Of course, in our business news, government in new plan to privatize more than 200 parastatals. Policy by the National Assembly Treasury explains that the law will be amended to convert all commercial agencies into limited private companies so that they can compete with private businesses for opportunities in government and public service. European trial give note to Palestinian state. And the World Review, that is in page 25. Now to a big story. Date with Biden finally here. President William Ruto is received by the U.S. First Lady Jill Biden at the Joint Base Andrews in Washington, D.C. yesterday. The president will meet his U.S. counterpart today, and of course to have a conversation on what I was mentioning about what will be the greater impact of that particular meeting at the U.S. and the association, of course the collaboration between U.S. and Kenya, including growth and development and of course exchange of markets indeed. All right. Now we are done with the newspaper review. This is the Standard and the Daily Nation. We're just going to take a break, but remember we're having a conversation on red flags in relationship. What is your taste or what is your say on red flags? How do we identify them? And how do we notice that this is a warning in a relationship? Just in a bit. Remember to keep the hashtag The Morning Drift. See you in a bit as we give you the trending stories this morning.
There is a biblical quotation that says, whoever gives to an orphan lends to God. Today was a great day for us. We have received and hosted a wonderful and great team from Tatua Tatu who have come to make a day brighter for these kids and for our beneficiaries.
I thank you, Tatua number 3, for coming. May God bless you, and the gates of Rafiki are ever open, and you are welcome and welcome again.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na Manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi, na ukiwa na Njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Lookuptv. Every Sunday unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima. Ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the wheels and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the burst of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
Alright, welcome back. This is the Morning Drift, and on to the stories this morning. President William Ruto has called on MRE investors to set up stations in the country. Speaking in Atlanta, Georgia, Ruto highlighted the strategic location and the key infrastructure that separates Kenya from other African countries that makes it more sustainable for investments. Let's get that story.
President William Ruto's U.S. tour today entered its third day. The head of state touching base in Washington, D.C. ahead of several meetings, including congressional engagements. His visit expected to culminate with bilateral talks with President Joe Biden. In his second day, the head of state and America's ambassador to Kenya highlighted the need for investors to consider Kenya, with Whitman emphasizing on Kenya's democracy and friendly business environment.
We have made tremendous investment to develop a modern, efficient, and seamless integrated transport, communication, and energy infrastructure. Our excellent network of ports, railways, roads, and airports reinforce Kenya's position as the gateway to East, Central, and Southern Africa.
Kenya is the most stable democracy in East Africa. The president has created a business environment where he wants Kenya to be the most competitive place to make your investments in business. And he understands that it's not just competing against other African countries. Kenya has to compete against the world.
President Ruto, in pitching for Kenya, noted the emphasis laid on technological advances, insisting that it strategically positions Kenya as ripe for investment.
We are enhancing our technology ecosystem to attract big tech companies and startups, positioning Kenya as the premier destination in our continent. Our digital superhighway program involves laying another 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic infrastructure and establishing numerous digital hubs across the country.
U.S. beverage firm Coca-Cola is expected to invest millions of dollars in an agreement signed with Kenya, with President Ruto calling on more American companies to set up shops in the country.
Our intention is to ensure that companies like Amazon Web Services, Apple, Citigroup, Coca-Cola, and this afternoon we signed an investment program with Coca-Cola of $175 million over the next 5 years, including Del Monte, General Electric, Google, Hello Tractor, IBM, Intel, Kentegra, MasterCard, Microsoft, Oracle. Do I need to continue? All of them are among many companies that we guarantee maximum value for their investors by realizing the full benefit of working from Kenya, working in Kenya, and working with Kenyans.
The head of state's entourage also made its way to Vivo Fashion, a fashion shop run by Kenyans. The commander-in-chief saying that the company demonstrates the impact of visionary enterprise and spotlights the role of women in leadership, business, and entrepreneurship. Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Thank you so much, Ian Keitani, for that story. Now, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi stated that the governmental will not be providing compensation for farmers whose crops and livestock were affected by the recent floods. Speaking before the Senate plenary session, Linturi clarified that there is no budgetary allocation set aside for compensating farmers impacted by floods. Martin Moshario with more.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Appearing before the Senate plenary session,
discussion today, Linturi made it clear that the government has not set aside a budgetary allocation for compensation of farmers affected by the floods. Linturi further explained that the government is unable to fully assess the extent of the damage caused by the floods until the rains subsidize.
The government's emergency response to the emergencies occasioned by floods does not include compensation to crop and livestock farmers affected by floods. The government has no budgetary allocation for the purpose of compensation of farmers affected by the floods, and it is worth noting that Tana River County is also affected by floods resulting from the enhanced rainfall in those months of April again and May, and this is the season we are in, and it is not possible to pronounce ourselves on the level of damage caused by the floods as at now, because the rains are still ongoing and it is not possible to do a report to inform on the level of losses incurred.
During the session, Senator Esther Okinyori raised concerns about the significant impact of the floods on Tana River County. In response, Linturi pledged to collaborate with various insurance to explore ways to assist those severely affected by the floods.
We have a program on crop insurance within the ministry, and some of the issues that probably we go through trying to argue to ensure that our farmers are properly taken care of.
Despite the lack of compensation for flood-affected farmers, Linturi assured that the coffee sector farmers' debts will be settled. He disclosed that the Ministry of Cooperatives and the Treasury have prepared a memo to clear all outstanding debts in the sector, allocating 6 billion towards this initiative.
Next cabinet meeting, the ministry, my ministry and Ministry of Cooperatives, we've already prepared a memo to seek approval to waive 6 billion debt for all coffee farmers in the country.
Martin Usharia, Lookuptv.
A question still remains: where were the amounts that were set aside for these flood victims? Now, in the same state as Sonia and Jiro details, victims of the Mai Mahiu landslide tragedy have raised concern over their fate after the government began dismantling their IDP camps. The victims now say they are yet to receive proper guidance, with the government pledging to give rental support to those whose homes were completely wrecked. Now, let's get that story.
Displaced persons in the Mai Mahiu landslide tragedy have expressed uncertainty following the government's directive to dismantle IDP camps, stating that there is not enough guidance offered by the government regarding their future.
Wenye wamebaki hapa ni wale wenye shamba ama wenye ploti, au ndio wameambiwa watatafuta nao nyumba, watalentiwa nyumba ya kwa miezi 3. Chakula tunaona pale, endapo utapewa kama wale wengine walikuwa kukomboa unga ni kama 2, sukari, chakula tu ya kuweza kusukuma mtu kama miezi 2 hivi. Sasa shida ama swali ile mtu anajiuliza, kuanzia hapo maisha itakuwaje, na hatuambii kwamba ni mpaka lini ama hii mpango itapangika namna gani. Hizo ndizo wasiwasi tuko nazo.
The Mai Mahiu Disaster Management Committee has requested families whose homes remain intact to return to their homes, a situation which has evoked fear and panic in them if the rains still continue.
Tulikuwa tunaenda kwa ground na chifu na wanakijiji, lakini kuanzia jana chifu alikuja huku na akatutaja tukiwa watu 10, akasema tutoke hapa turudi kwetu kwenye tulikuwa kwa maji, na bado nyumba zetu siko tu kwa mto. Naoga sana kurudi hapo, huwezi rudi juu hata sahi, hata ukienda ukae tu kwa hiyo nyumba, hata kunyesha mchana unatoroka, kunyesha usiku unatoroka, utakaanje toroka. Sasa sisi tunaomba tu serikali itusaidie pahali tutatulia mpaka hii maji iishe, ama watwambie tutafanya aje na hizo plot zetu.
Furthermore, the government has urged those severely affected to look for rental accommodation, further promising to cater for food and rent worth 5,000 Kenya shillings for 3 months, an offer that the IDPs claim is not enough sustenance.
Tumepatiwa 2 weeks. Kila mtu ajipange, aende tafute nyumba, aoneshane, ndio aende alipiwe 3 months na upewe chakula na upewe 5,000, alafu tuondoke. Je, swali ni moja. Tunajiuliza aje, tunaenda kiaje? Tunaenda wapi? Tutafikisha wapi na hii maisha? Hii maisha ni ngumu. Hata hata nikipewa hiyo 5 months, nilipewa nyumba 5 months ama nipewe chakula ama nipewe 5,000 itanisaidia na nini na nitaanzia wapi? Bado maisha ni ngumu bado. Sasa sisi tunaomba tu, yani kama ndiyo shamba tuliambiliwa, tujue venye tutanunua shamba. Yani ukitoka hapa uwe na green light, unaenda wapi, utamalizia wapi, utaanza maisha aje? Juu ni ngumu sana. Sasa unaona, sasa ndio tulikuwa tunasema je, Kiara angekuja angetuelezea mambo ya serikali venye kuna sisi hatuwezi jua venye serikali inafikiria, lakini tungeomba sana watufikirie sana.
Sonia Njeri, Lookuptv.
Thank you so much for that lovely story. And of course, we're waiting for the government to make strategies in ensuring that these particular stories are sorted and the counties affected by floods till to date are sorted. In the meantime, we're taking a short break, but when we come back, I'll give you some of the updates on the stories this morning. But first things first, remember, I keep on reminding you about the conversation we're going to have about red flags in relationships. Keep the hashtag The Morning Drift. Make your comments short and precise as you state how do we identify red flags in relationships. See you in a bit after this break.
Kiangazi imedhiri sana katika area hii yetu ya Laikipia. Mara mingi sana katika Laikipia kuna wafugaji na kuna wakulima. Hakuna yule ambaye amesaidika, hata wakulima pia wajasaidika na wafugaji pia wajasaidika. Lakini kwa siku ya leo tunasema kwamba RUTO Foundation imetusaidia sana kwa sababu inalisha jamii ambaye hawana nguvu ya kupata lishe mahali moja au nyingine.
Tulikuwa tunalala hoi. Ukweli kabisa, mimi siamini. Hata mtu mwingine jinsi tumeleta hapo usiku akuwa amesimia. Akuwa na siku 3 hajaamua kitu. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru sana RUTO. Leo watoto wengi ameshiba.
Nashukuru Mungu kwa RUTO Foundation siku ya leo. Maana wamekuja at least manyumba 100 leo na 10 itaweza kunuka kitunguu jioni ya leo. Tulikuwa na njaa, si mchezo, ilikuwa na njaa, si ya ile ya kusema iko njaa.
Ya kwanza tumekuwa na watoto ambao wameshikwa na hata watu wazima na utapia mlo, na pia tukiangalia hii ni area ambayo imejaa watu ambao wana rely na mifugo, na mifugo mingi imeweza kuisha kwa sababu ya kiangazi, na tunashukuru sana the RUTO Foundation kwa msaada wao ambao wameweza. Asanteni sana.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the RUTO Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives. Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
How do you start your engine when it is time to drive? Are you a first-time car buyer or want to upgrade your wheels? Do you know your car brand? Is it power colorful, stylish, or does it turn heads as you drive past? Well, let's get to know all about wheels on the Daily Drive Show with Ian Otieno as we review all automobiles inclusively, specs on powertrain, interior, exterior, and pricing. Get on board with Ian Otieno for a dose of automobile scene on Lookuptv. Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution, or a university, and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Lookuptv and all our digital platforms. Call us today or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
Welcome back. This is the Morning Drift. Keep the hashtag The Morning Drift. We are live on Facebook and YouTube now. Isiolo floods effect. That is a story that we are going to highlight as Majid states that school in Merti, Isiolo County are yet to open due to the ravaging floods in the country. Now in their classroom and sanitation blocks, education stakeholders have now come together to ensure that the affected students are accommodated in neighboring schools. Parents are now calling on authorities to speed up reconstruction efforts.
This is the situation in Merti, Isiolo sub-county. Schools were left in ruins after Wasunyiro River broke its banks. 7 schools, according to the report presented in the meeting of education stakeholders and leaders of the area, are in bad situation after important infrastructures were damaged by the waters. The Ministry of Education has ordered closure of schools for the safety of students, while the ministry is said to come up with an ample solution.
We have been hosted by Merti primary schools. All our pit latrines, 8 block latrines have already submerged. We are now requesting the national government, NGOs, to come in and intervene in the situation. Otherwise, I don't see whether we can even go back there the whole time.
Elsewhere, 1,400 students in Samburu and Marsabit counties who are greatly affected by drought situation have found reprieve after Kenya Dryland Education Fund gave them food and school fees. Kenya Dryland Education Fund Country Director Ahmed Kura noted that the organization seeks to ensure that the needy students get fair chance at acquiring education.
The pastoralist communities have suffered because of no rain, with their livestock dwindling, and if the livestock dying, many families cannot afford school fees. And this is why Kenya Drylands Education Fund started the Food for Fees program. And in this, our goal is to help these institutions, 1,400 students, to stay in school. Many families are struggling and cannot afford fees. As KDF, we decided to ensure that these kids are not sent away from the institution. Education is important to our people, and it's the only thing that can bring us out of the poverty that we are in right now.
Majid Hussein, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Majid Hussein, for that story. Now, on the same test, remember, a total of 4.9 billion was set aside for the program in the current fiscal year. Lawmakers say that lawmakers say that the government cannot use NGCDF money to feed learners. The state should not cut allocation on food because it is a very important element in learning. So remember, the MP also urged President William Ruto not to adopt the idea, saying millions of learners may go without meals. Now adding that abandoning the scheme would hit education hard. Right, we are waiting for a solution, of course, for that particular school feeding program to be aligned in the government. On the other hand, East Africa Portland Cement in Athi River is reviving its operations with the production level increasing from 20% to over 50%. The economy aims to unite stakeholders for enhanced profits, emphasizing its role as a major employer in the region. That captivating story, of course, will keep tabs to see what is coming forth. Now, on the other hand, 5 months into the new year, let's quickly take stock of how the laid down goals and resolutions are going individually and as a nation. On Your Opinion Matters with Shamila Baraza, let's get what the Mwananchi has to say on that particular report.
When the year started, many people had resolutions to achieve at the end of the year. It is 5 months down the line. Today, in our segment of Your Opinion Matters, we are asking citizens if they have started achieving some of their resolutions. Let's hear what Kenyans have to say.
Into resolutions zangu nimeachieve kadhaa, kuna zenye sijaachieve na kenye nilifanya sijaachieve ama nimeachieve according to the situation of life, you see. Juu kama saa hii unapata economy iko juu.
Hii mwaka ikianzia nilikuwa na mambo mengi ya kufanya. Mengi hayajatimia lakini tu tumeendelea. Imetimiza tu kujenga tu kwa nyumba. Unajua tu uchumi vile natupeleka.
Mimi kimaisha Mungu amenisaidia. Ile mipango nilikuwa nimepanga, Mungu amenisaidia, kuna yenye nimetimiza. Na hiyo ingine naendelea na naona ananisaidia.
Nilikuwa nimepanga hii mwaka kama ningesaidika kwa hii kazi yangu ya matatu, ningenunua gari yangu. Lakini sasa kwa upande wa uchumi, upande wa matatu, kasi imerudi chini kabisa.
Nilikuwa nimepanga nipate kazi yangu yenye nimeachiliwa, na nilikuwa na mpango wa kutoka nje ya nchi niende kutafuta pesa zangu, na sijafaulu kwenda mahali nilikuwa nataka kwenda kwa sababu ukienda kila ofisi kila mtu anataka pesa.
Personally naweza sema sija achieve any, sababu the more I try achieving so that serikali kuna venye imenifinya.
Mwaka nilikuwa natarajia kuwa na mambo mengi nimefanya, lakini mambo yote yameshindikana bana, hamna pesa. Hakuna kitu nimeachieve bana, mambo ni mabaya sana.
Those were some of Kenyan sentiments, where most of them have stated that they have not achieved anything due to economic hardships. Remember, Your Opinion Matters to us. I'm Shamila Baraza, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Shamila Baraza. That is just by the sentiment that Kenyans had to offer in regards to that particular question. And now who will be the next manager at Stamford Bridge? Of course, so many contenders came on board, including Ruben Amorim, Hansi Flick, Claren McKenna, and of course, Julian Nagelsmann. Of course, we have Jose Mourinho, we have Mikel Sanchez, and so many more. Roberto De Zerbi are some of the contenders who could be now the next manager at Stamford Bridge. That is, of course, what we'll have in the highlights as far as Ulingo Sport is concerned. But to the bottom line of this particular, remember, Chelsea had a match, and of course Mauricio Pochettino waves to supporters during the Premier League match. Of course it was a captivating moment in the EPL, and of course the table now is out. We saw who won, and of course we saw who took the lead there, and of course we're expecting so much as far as sports is concerned. But in the meantime, let's take a short break. We'll be right back with more.
My name is Penina. I got a message about this food relief, and I do really appreciate for the situation of the pandemic we are living. They have come now to share with us this food relief. So I have a business, but it's not really doing that well, that much. We are really trying. We are getting actually so little. As I'm departing, I want to really appreciate, as a deaf community member in Kibera, thank you so much for all these things you have given to us.
Unaona njaa, ninatikia njaa, leo nitatiba. Leo nitakula. Atandi. Ninataitiwa chakula. nende ngakule kodebo ni mubea muno atandi.
Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution or a university and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Lookuptv and all our digital platforms. Call us today. Or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
Gen Z vibes. Hello, good people. You're right in time for the best show in the Eastern Central of Africa. This show is Gen Z vibes.
They call me
Jimmy Season,
King Edwin Big Bodeno.
From this part of the Sahara, they call me Nairobian influencer. Enyewe mmedress kama Gen Z,
lazima tuwakilishe
generation.
Mimi nitakuja na nguo nataka na mta ni blame juu amku niambia.
Unaweza vaa anything but traditional or anything but you look good. You look presentable. So unavaa like clothes which exposes your body more, ndio unasema you are more fashionable. No, that is not the meaning of fashion.
Every single Saturday from 10 in the AM.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na Manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi. Na ukiwa na Njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Lookuptv. Every Sunday unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima. Ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
How do you start your engine when it is time to drive? Are you a first-time car buyer or want to upgrade your wheels? Do you know your car brand? Is it powerful, stylish, or does it turn heads as you drive past? Well, let's get to know all about wheels on the Daily Drive Show with Ian Otieno as we review all automobiles inclusively, specs and powertrain, interior, exterior, and pricing. Get on board with Ian Otieno for a dose of automobile scene on Lookuptv.
So this is how we create an art piece.
Some say it's organized chaos, while others say it is a way of survival. For Alex Kamanjiri, art is an avenue to say what he would have otherwise lacked words to express. Like many artists, it took an outsider to make him realize his knack for the arts.
First of all, it did not start like a dream. It was a lie. Yeah. While I was in high school in Form 2, I drew a portrait of an of an old man smoking. And my friends lied to me that it was really nice. And I believed in the lie. And I started practicing slowly. YouTube, most of my skills I've learned from YouTube. And soon enough, it became good. I became that lie, became that good.
In line with the legendary 10,000 hours rule, Alex says he has put in the work and is certainly on his way to achieve true expertise. He reminisces proudly the first time he earned from this trade.
Okay, yeah, it was a portrait of an old madam. Yeah, she wanted me to draw her. Then I remember it was a small A3 size piece. Yeah, it was really nice. It was a really high pressure because once you're used to drawing just for yourself and you're being given a commission for the first time, there's a lot of pressure in your head. Not because you're good, because you think you want to put your best into it. So.
At the sound of art, many people think of a drawing, but rarely do we think of bids on an art piece.
I used to do portraits, a lot of portraits using pencil. And in the gallery that I exhibit, I saw a piece by a lady called Christine Okuma. I've never met her. I would love to meet her one day. It was a mixed media art. It was a kitenge and some beads. Yeah, if I'm right, yeah. So some triangular abstract work. And an idea popped up. So why don't I mix these beads and the portraits that I make? Let me try out. And then I tried out, and the response from my friends and the people who love my work are like, yeah, you should try this ball.
Wood, glue, beads, pencils, just to name a few of the tools required. The process can be demanding.
It depends with the size and also the size of the beads that you're using. Yeah, and also the intricacies, because there are some more detailed artworks than others.
When swamped with work, Alex retreats because time is an essential part of the craft.
And we start by sketching the piece. And this piece is already sketched and it's already painted. So the reason as to why we paint before is because the beads has holes. And the holes, if the background is different from the image, it will create a different effect. So you have to paint the background first. And let's do a part that we've already painted. Where do we? Okay, let's start by this part here. So you start by placing the wood glue. We use wood glue because it's on plywood. Make sure it does not spread. Slowly take your time. Then after that, normally I use a biro, but you put the beads first. You don't just spread, but you can also use something that has a sharp tip, like this, by placing it and arranging it slowly. First you start with the edges, move them slowly.
After all the time, energy and creativity, it's no wonder why art pieces are deemed expensive.
I'm doing my own project. Most of the time it might be more expensive because it's my own project. But there's some images that I just create that I sell at a reasonable price, depending on the size and the intricacies, the details and stuff. For example, the A3s, most of the time they range between 5 to 12K. So the A3s, this is an A3. And as we go up, the money goes up.
With art galleries steadily becoming popular around Nairobi, this 21-year-old artist is keen on penetrating the market.
Currently, I'm exhibiting at a gallery in Karen, Waterfront Mall. It's called the Gallery. And on Saturdays, I take my works to a market. It's called Organic Farmers Market. Yeah, it's also in Karen, around Karen area, Marula Lane. That's where currently I'm getting most of my sales, the gallery and the market. but also I get from people from IG, from the net. They reach out if they want portraits or if they like what I've posted and they want to buy, they also contact me there.
For 2 years now in the beaded art world, his inspiration comes from everyday life experiences, emotions, and the power of observation.
Sometimes it comes in words, sometimes it comes in images. So I have to write things down. I have a diary where I write my ideas from.
As an artist, Alex hopes the pieces he makes will capture a moment in time. But many times, the complexities that exist within the art world are a handful.
I can say it's a risk to some extent, because you never know. You never know if you're going to earn from it or not. So by taking that risk, because Kenya art is not as appreciated as other countries.
Youth Affairs, Arts and Sports Cabinet Secretary Babu Namwamba has been on a mission to revive the art scene in the country, which has for years not yielded much for the creatives. For Alex, the culture should be inculcated in our everyday life.
Just let the artist be. Because me, I can say I was blessed to have a father who accepted me as an artist. Like, he was like, this is a statement he actually said, as long as you're not killing or stealing, you do your thing. That's what he said.
With the hope of one day being his own boss, consistency is his gospel.
They say that art is the journey of a free soul, and for Alex Kamanjiri, he's only just beginning to explore the colors and turn the chaos into beautiful pieces. Nancy Nalima, Lookuptv, Kowinda Karen, Nairobi.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na Manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi. Na ukiwa na Njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Lookuptv. Every Sunday unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima. Ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the wheels and gears of the integral businesses in the country.